Okay, we have a quorum, so we're going to go to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Yes.
to the
To the
flag
flag
of the
United
United States of America and to the
and to the
republic
republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Item 4, opening remarks. I don't know if we have any from anybody. So maybe Alyssa will use this for you just to recap what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, so tonight we want to bring forward the change order for the Wally Kruger Way, the road replacement. As we discussed last week, we would want to discuss and vote on that item. And then we also would like to touch upon the plaque discussion. We did receive the pricing that I included for the additional plaque, as well as some things to consider and decide on. We do need to order the George Mitchell dedication plaque this week. In order to get that into the building for move-in, there's a significant lead time with that. So that's something that we would like to approve now, and we need to decide whether we want that to be vertical or horizontal, which I can bring that up when I share my screen. So we can look at those things and then decide if we want to pursue the pricing for the additional plaque. But again, we order that one once we have the names decided and things like that. The most critical thing is that we decide on the Mitchell plaque tonight, so that way we can release by Friday. If you guys decide, you want to make changes or what have you, we just need to decide that by Friday. So two things. The two change orders are what's up for discussion for tonight.
Okay, so just looking at the agenda, we did not have the second change order on the agenda.
Yeah, that's for the additional plaque, so that pricing can come for approval at a later time once the names and things like that are decided upon. Last meeting, we did vote to go ahead and do the two plaques. So for tonight, our main focus would just be to vote on the Mitchell plaque, which is included with the project budget. There's no added cost there. But now you have the pricing for the additional plaque, and we'll have some other examples to show you guys to get that conversation moving. And then things like names and things like that can come later on as you guys decide who's going to go on it.
John, is it possible we can get a visual of the Mitchell plaque?
Are you talking to me? I'm sorry.
John Garish, through you, can we get a copy of what the plaque looks like?
Yeah. You're talking about for us to display it tonight?
Yeah.
Alyssa, do you want me to share my screen, or do you want to?
I have everything queued up, ready to go, so I can share the Mitchell plaques and then
I guess
examples.
item 5 is actually the change order for Wally Kruger Way.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if we should take that in order.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Okay, so item 5 is approval of the change order for the additional work at Wally Kruger Way. We did get the information later this afternoon. So you want to go through that, Alyssa?
Yep, so John's gonna go ahead and explain this pricing. So the floor is yours, John.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So last week we discussed that when they ground the surface course on Wally Kruger Way, we found that the existing sub-base binder needed some repair, and we discussed that it might be a $20,000 or $25,000 bill to fix it. And it was brought up that why wouldn't we just spend the right amount of money to redo the road, and instead of having a 15-year repair, have a 30-year new road. So we agreed to price that. I believe I gave some number, $60,000, $70,000. I don't remember the exact number of what I thought it would cost. The change order that's in front of us has it broken down of what the costs are. And the only thing I can see that's different from what I would have expected, because I didn't realize it was so much, was in Massachusetts, there is, for all asphalt work, for the state anyway, there is a liquid asphalt factor that is published by the Mass DOT. And when you award contracts to asphalt companies, they base their price on that liquid asphalt factor. During the course of a job, at the end, it comes out in contingency and it's discussed, and there's an escalation factor that's normally applied to the project. It's normally minor. However, with diesel at $6 a gallon, it's like a 40% issue over the last 6 or 8 months. So the price you're seeing for the binder course is probably 40% higher than I would have anticipated when I discussed this last week. So that $20.13 a square yard that's on that first page would really be something like $14.50 or $15 max. So that is the reason why this is 90, I don't know what it is, 97. I think it's 96 and change, 90, almost 97, as opposed to 65 or 70, is based on this escalation. That because it's a change order, they're buying the asphalt at that cost today. The contract work may or may not have a discussion about escalation at a later date, but right now, in a change order situation, we have to honor that Mass DOT liquid asphalt factor. I'm hoping Harsh is on so he can corroborate this. I don't know.
He's not on.
I don't see him. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's the major difference from what we talked about last week. The scope of the work is as we described. We'll full depth mill it. We'll grade the full depth milling. We'll clean up the Cape Cod, the slope granite curve that's there. We'll put down a binder course, and then when we do the finish course, we'll do the finish with the rest of the project. There's costs here for the paver, who is under contractor Bacon. And there are costs here for the site work contractor, who is also under contractor Bacon, to regrade the road and set frames and covers and things like that. So it is what it is. If we still want to do it, we can pull the trigger on this. If we want to reconsider this, now is the time to do that. In addition, I did walk the road with engineering, Azoo, and Department of Public Works. From my understanding, the Department of Public Works went out there and cleaned all the catch basins and opened all the drain manholes and found no deteriorated structures or piping. Azoo gave his blessing. His engineering team gave their blessing to do this. They saw no reason why you shouldn't do it. But again, it is a different price than we discussed last week.
John, could I make a motion to approve the change order in the amount of $96,898.99 with the hopes of a second for discussion?
Second, Mark.
Okay.
John, if I could.
Yes.
So I certainly appreciate all the background on this change order, and certainly the cooperation with the town of Bridgewater and DPW. I think even though that the price has increased, this is sort of the last critical piece to me, with school buses exiting the school site. And I would strongly ask for support to just make this roadway whole as part of this project and ask for its approval tonight.
Does anybody else have any discussion? I had an item, so the adder, the HMA binder course adder, I guess. So are we saying that applies? And I'm only interested in doing what's fair, right? Because costs have gone up. Is that an adder by the numbers that we have to add as a municipality using state funds from the school building authority?
No, it is a contract thing. It always comes up, John, in the course of a project at the end. Whatever the paving scope is, every asphalt company will ask the general contractor to apply this escalation, whether it's even a private job or a state job or a state-funded job. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. Normally, over the course of a project, it's not a huge increase, and it's not something that is a showstopper. In this project, this has been going on for a little while, but it's been minor. The last 4 months has turned it, like I said, into a 40% escalation from $3.50 a gallon to $6.50 a gallon. So it's really cramped the asphalt industry. And I'm not asking or advocating at this point for the rest of the project. It's just we're asking them to buy material today at current prices for a change order that they don't really have to do if they don't want. It's not fair to make them buy it at the bid price and then hope they get paid for the escalation. This is strictly a material cost escalation. If they were paying $500 a ton for liquid asphalt, they are now paying almost $900 a ton for liquid asphalt. It comes right out of the subcontractor's pocket.
Okay, I think that's a good explanation. And this is
And
just being,
if there's any question in the public eye, these numbers are vetted through the actual invoices that the asphalt company gets from the asphalt plant. It will show this escalation in a very clear format as to why they had to pay it. It's all done by weights and scales and all that kind of stuff. So it's very clear and it's very above board because it is so common.
okay, I think that's a good explanation. And your point that this isn't gonna apply to anything other than this change order. And I guess this is just for the additional work over and above what we already owned.
That's correct. They own the top course, which is not in this change order. What they don't own is grinding up the existing binder and putting a new binder down. So that's where the bulk of the cost is for this change order.
Okay, I didn't have any more discussion. Is there anybody else? All right, I don't see any. So I guess we would take the roll, take the vote.
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Aye.
Will,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, thank you, John and CHA for, pulling this all together in short order and setting us up to get this work done. John, they're not going to say no now, right?
Who's they?
You said they didn't have to do it.
Oh, no. Any change order, they don't have to do. In other words, if they feel that they're not gonna be treated fairly or get a good deal, they don't really have to do a change order. But no, they're committed to it. As a matter of fact, this is scheduled for Wednesday or Thursday if we can pull it together. So they are ready to do this right now.
I was just kidding. But
I know, but I'm just saying in reality, they don't have to do these change orders. They don't make any real money for them. So, and it's nothing but paperwork for them. So we cajole them and we get them to do what they got to do to keep the thing moving. So.
Yep. Okay, again, thank you. So I guess the next item is to look at the plaques. So I just wanted to ask Alyssa, the dedication plaque, the way that the change order, right? Because we have money in the budget to put, I'm just going to say, to put in a plaque.
Yes.
But the way this is presented, isn't this a cost associated with the George Mitchell plaque that we're trying to vote on tonight?
So for the last vote, we were under the impression that we would be releasing the George Mitchell plaque as we discussed the write-up, the way it was. And that's the main dedication plaque included in the contract that will go up. We have the 2 locations for that,
Okay.
which we sent out. So we're suggesting that the Mitchell plaque be in the main lobby, and then the traditional plaque with everyone's names on it will be in the vestibule at the front door. So those were the 2 spaces for those plaques. We did receive pricing for that additional plaque, which last meeting we decided to do an additional plaque. The lead time is, I think, about 12 weeks for the Mitchell plaque. So we want to get that out immediately so that when we do our ribbon cutting, that's installed in the building, and that's under the contract. That's owned by Cassandra Stein.
Alyssa?
Yep.
That's where I'm confused. The plaque with all the names on it in the vestibule is what's owned in the contract. That's the plaque we own. The additional money, the $73 or $500, is for the Mitchell plaque itself.
Okay, I was under the impression that we were trying to get the Mitchell plaque approved for move-in.
Well, the Mitchell plaque is what needs to be approved because that's the additional money.
Okay.
So we'll approve the money, we'll approve the verbiage on the sign and order it before Friday if we can. And then at the town's leisure and however they want to go through it, we will construct the layout of the building dedication plaque in the vestibule. That's the one that's owned, because that sign is actually 30 by 42, and the Mitchell plaque is 24 by 36.
Okay.
And I apologize, Alyssa. I just wanted to make
No
sure.
problem.
I was.
I think, yeah, I misread Jean's email. Thanks for clarifying that. So what we would expect to do is, since we've already voted last meeting to do a second sign, we do want to get the Mitchell approved so that way we can order it by Friday. So that's the decision that we need to make if we're going to go horizontal or vertical with that sign, and if we're going to spend that money on the change order, which I also had sent out earlier for the $7,588. So that's what we need to decide, whether we're going to go horizontal or vertical for the Mitchell sign, and if we are going to approve that change order, and then we can further decide the verbiage for the named plaque.
John Garish, it's Mike Dolan.
Yes, Mike.
I I thought 2 meetings ago, we voted to turn that plaque into the George's plaque. Did we not?
Isn't that what we're looking at, Mike?
So 2 meetings ago, not at the last meeting, I was under the impression we voted to change the, what we'll call the name plaque to the George Mitchell plaque. And then at the last meeting, we voted to add the name plaque back.
That was sort of my.
Mike, you may be right, Mike, but the name plaque is going to be much more expensive. I think I don't know why I have an echo here for some reason. I'm not going to try.
John, sorry.
Michael, while we're waiting, could you just go through that one more time? I guess I'm confused now what we're talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely, Matt. Sure. Thank you. So 2 meetings ago, we voted to change the name plaque to the George Mitchell plaque. And then at the last meeting, we voted to add the name plaque back.
Okay.
So we voted to create George's plaque already.
Right. Just approving the actual language and the layout.
We did that, yes. But this is a change order to now pay for that plaque, which 2 meetings ago, we made the plaque that was coming with the building.
Listen, do you know how much money was in the budget for, I'll just say, the plaque?
That wouldn't be broken out. It would be part of the overall sign package that Bacon Construction would have had to buy out because it wasn't a filed sub-bid. So I think from John's perspective, he's saying that adding that plaque with George Mitchell's name on it is the additional cost because we already owned a plaque that had everybody's names on it. So he's saying that that would have been significantly more money than the George Mitchell plaque.
All right, so let me just ask this a different way. The value of the plaque that we already own, how much is that? Does anybody know? Does anybody have a feel for that? In other words, do we need a change order tonight to move forward on the Mitchell plaque?
I don't think so. The way I understand it is that's in the budget. We need to fund the Mitchell plaque.
The plaque with all the names on it would be at least twice as much.
Okay, so John, let me just ask you this because it's a little confusing, right? The George Mitchell plaque that we want in bronze, that's less money than the plaque we already own that we're calling the name or the building plaque. Is that true?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so I'm thinking we can move forward, as Mike Dolan pointed out. We've already approved this plaque as a committee. Now we just wanted to approve the final verbiage, correct? So we can move forward with that from a financial standpoint. And then the delta increase to own both plaques can be voted on later. Does that sound reasonable?
It sounds reasonable to me. As long as I can tell Bacon that they're going to get an extra $7,500 plus or minus to make this George Mitchell plaque and still make you a building plaque, then the contractor will be okay. How you do it in your voting back and forth, let's take it to this extreme. Let's just say that you do not, somewhere along the line, reject the notion that you're going to put together a plaque with all the names on it. At that point, you're entitled to a credit for that sign.
Okay, so I can follow along, and I'm thinking based on that discussion that we do not have to approve the change order, which was not on the agenda for tonight, in order to approve the bronze relief George Mitchell plaque tonight. Is there anyone who disagrees with that logic? Silence is golden.
John, you looking for a motion on the 7,588.65?
No, actually, I don't think we should vote on that tonight because, again, I'm just suggesting that it wasn't on the agenda. And to Michael Dolan's point, we already voted on the single plaque, 2 meetings ago. So I just want to make sure we do what's proper, not out of order. And I guess I'm looking for help here.
Yeah, so John, it's Mike. We cannot vote on the change order if it wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, so what I need to do is I need to tell Bacon that there was a vote of the committee that said you would provide the Mitchell plaque instead of the building plaque. So they have no financial risk at this point by providing the Mitchell plaque. The decision about the building plaque is yet to be made. At that point, this $7,500 may come into play.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yes. Yep.
I think that's reasonable. Everybody agrees.
So I just need to make sure that they know, Alyssa and I, at tomorrow's meeting, that right now the building plaque is held in abeyance. They have to provide the Mitchell plaque. And if you decide to go with the building plaque, there needs to be a discussion about this $7,500 and how it affects the cost of the building plaque. So we'll work it out later. We can get it on the agenda and make it official for you.
Hey, John, this is Joe. Can we just make sure that this is accurately articulated in the minutes?
Sure.
I don't know how to do that for you. So
It was the other John.
okay, I know.
Okay, so if everybody agrees, then we're going to review the George Mitchell relief plaque, vertical, horizontal, and take a vote on the final format, because we've already voted to authorize the plaque itself. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over, I guess, to Alyssa. So,
Yeah, so the non-financial decision that we have to make is whether we're doing it vertical, which is pictured here, or horizontal, which is pictured here. So that's the only decision we would need tonight. And then if you want me to, I can show you some examples of the other plaque.
so
Or we
Alyssa,
can
so
take it to a
are we
further meeting.
approving this verbiage as it's presented tonight?
Yes. This exact plaque will get released on Friday or earlier if you guys decide tonight to move forward with this plaque.
So why does it
Either
say
vertical-
July? I'm just curious why it says July.
That's the date that the project is completed from a financial and physical standpoint. So that's why it's dedicated July 2022. That's when the building is going to be completed.
Okay, thank you.
So I can give you guys a few minutes to look at it horizontal, and then I can switch back to vertical.
given the space, I think horizontal makes most sense, given the wall it would be supposed to be on. But that's just my 2 cents.
I think that's my question as to it's difficult to judge or to have an idea if it's not if the wall or the area of the vestibule if this isn't superimposed. So if this is all we have to go on, I'm uncomfortable unless everyone knows exactly where it's going and knows.
So this plaque would actually go in the main lobby.
Mhm.
So this is the wall that it would go on.
And I appreciate that. I understand where in the lobby, but as far as even when you're hanging a photo or something on your wall, you are placing it on your wall to see, do we put it vertical or do we do it horizontal? And what we're deciding right now is without having that to be able to decide. So unless, everyone else knows exactly how it will look, I'll go with that expertise.
I agree with Michael Dolan. I think the horizontal kind of stands out.
No opinion, go with the majority.
I like the horizontal, notwithstanding how will sit on the wall. I mean, Alyssa, do you have access to an architectural elevation of that view or by any chance?
I can try to pull it up. Just give me a second to log into Procore.
Lil, any comments on the verbiage?
Nope, it was approved by Beverly, so we should be all set.
Thank you.
Alyssa, that's on 523, A523.
Thank you. I was looking for the call out on that one.
One on A523.
So John, on the cost proposal that we're not voting on, it references 24 inches wide by 36 inches high.
That's the vertical. And then the horizontal is 36 inches wide and 24 inches high. It's more about how you want to read the message, which is why the horizontal, I think, is appealing to people.
Joe, I just wanted to point that out. I didn't know if you saw that in the
That what?
document. I just wanted to point it out for Joe, how big it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that. Melissa, this is going right under the bridge. Is that where he showed it?
Yes.
All right, so that wall is actually 6 feet wide where it's going. And it's between two glass doors.
So I think even on the original detail that Jean had called out, there could have been a potential for 2 stacked plaques, but we're deciding to do one in the lobby and one in the vestibule. So, it's our first floor.
John, I'll make the motion that we approve the horizontal plaque.
This is
Are you
Lil, I'll
showing them the
second it.
elevation?
I'm sorry,
Elizabeth?
John. She's showing the elevation, yes.
Okay, so do you see the 2 pairs of double doors on the right? Wherever it says lobby 103?
Yeah, she's going back to it. Yep, we do.
So if you look at the lower light of glass in one of those doors, the bottom light, that's approximately 24 by 36. So you can visualize that up on that panel.
Okay,
That's how big it would be. So it's actually very close to the size of the square around 103. It's not quite. The aspect ratio is off a little bit, but that's kind of what it would look like then.
okay. So Mark had made a motion on the horizontal arrangement. And I don't know if there was a second.
I seconded it, John, Lil.
Okay, any more discussion? All right, I guess we'll take the vote.
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
Patrick.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thank you.
John, this is Lisa. I'm the grammar police. Could we see that sign again? There's some grammar errors in that, the wording.
Well, before we go there, let me ask Lil. Lil, you said
There
this
is-
was already approved, so,
Well, it's something like there's 2 spaces after the period, and that's grammatically incorrect now. There should only be 1 space after that. Can you just, so like after every period, they've left 2 spaces. And that's now grammatically incorrect. It should only be 1 space. And I think that last sentence needs commas around the words, more importantly, and comma, more importantly, comma, was capable of learning. I don't know, what do you think, Lil?
Lisa, can you say that last one again, please?
That last sentence was really long, and after the word, when it goes, in his passionate level that every child had a right to an education and, comma, more importantly, comma, was capable of learning.
I'm okay with that.
John, can I ask you a quick question?
sure.
Is there anything else to vote on?
I don't think so.
Okay, and Pat joined the meeting, so you still have quorum if I'm not here, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have to leave now that we took the vote.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Good night.
So, John Garish, RDA would ask that we get one of these back commented on with exactly what you want. We have we have messed this up more than once, so we'd rather not do it again. So it's important to us to make sure that you alliterate exactly what you want us to have on this plaque for wording and grammar and spaces and commas, semicolons and exclamation points. So very important.
Okay, John, to that point, how about we look it over tonight and get it back to you tomorrow morning?
If I have it before I leave the site tomorrow, I'll get it in the hands of our people at the office, and I can get it to Bacon Wednesday afternoon, and they'll be off and running.
Okay,
So, well, you can send
So
that
just-
to me.
Yeah, just go through Alyssa, and she'll get it to me.
okay.
Perfect.
I'm just wondering about all the text I've read that had double spaces between sentences if the content was the same. Lisa,
Again, there are.
That's why I'm the grammar police.
Well, I'm an engineer, so I see other things. I'm an engineer, Lisa, so there's things like my wife would say, why are you looking up at the sky when we're driving?
I know.
I'm looking at the overhead power line. Not anymore, but, okay, so, thank you. So, yeah, I think any grammatical changes can go tomorrow, right? That sounds good.
Yeah, we're fine. We are fine.
All right, and then we're gonna deal with any necessary changes and costs at a future date. So, I don't know, on the, I'll just call it the building plaque, the name plaque, if we need to do that tonight, or if we wait until the committee knows that that's back on the agenda. Unless everybody feels that it was understood, we were gonna review this again tonight. Because I'm not prepared to offer anything different than what we last discussed.
John, if I could.
Sure.
So with the vote of the last meeting to do an additional plaque, we did get a photo of the one that is at the Rainham Middle School, which was a district building. And then we also have, so that's something to think about. I have a photo of that I could share with you guys following this meeting. And then I have a photo of the old plaque from the old Mitchell School that's currently sitting under the trailer with a pile of bricks from the original building. So that's another decision that has to be made on where that plaque is going and where the bricks will be going, preferably before we leave the site. So I took a picture of that as well. And then I was also sent an example of a different school project, not in this district. So there are a couple examples that I can send around, but something that can be digested on and decided on for formatting and wording and things like that. But other than that, I didn't have anything else.
So let me ask the committee. My thought is that we defer the discussion on that. We'll wait and get that information from Alyssa, and then have a focused discussion on this second plaque. Because again, I have nothing more to offer. I haven't really thought about it. I haven't seen anything on any suggested approach to how we would list names, unless I missed an email or something. That's my thought, that we put it on a future building meeting agenda. All right, again, silence is golden. So let's see. Item 6, new business. Is there any new business? So I'm wondering, we have the meeting posted tomorrow night, right, Josh, that we no longer need.
Right.
So
I'll cancel
how-
that.
Okay, so you can cancel that without us actually opening the meeting and,
Right, yeah, I'll get a cancellation email to be posted.
okay, great. Okay, the next item is adjourn unless anybody has anything.
Hello, would this be a good time to reach out from the public? I'm in a butter to the project.
Sure.
All right, great. Well, come on, I'll come on video, so you're not talking to a black square. Hello, my name is Mike Sylvia. I am the abutter at 480 South Street. And I had a couple of quick questions for the group. I'd be happy to put them in an email as well, just so it doesn't take up a ton of time. It's just about completion of the project and a couple of the details that we had agreed upon with Joe Raposo, our foreman that we had talked to back in 2021. And I just wanted to ensure that they were still in place, as he said, to reach out towards the end of the project and bring them up. So first of all, I wanted to say, everybody, thank you very much. It's actually been a pretty pleasant process for the most part. Obviously, when things were originally groundbreaking, it was a lot of rumbling and tumbling, but the crews have been awesome. So I just wanted to tell all y'all off the bat. Bacon Construction, everybody else, they've been really great. And appreciate that from an abutter standpoint. I wanted to check about the cedar post fence that's going to be installed along my property line. I know that there is a modified block retaining wall that stops right at the corner. And then there's the cedar post that wraps around, which brings it towards the street. And then I think there's a chain link fence. And that's getting into the plans. I double checked to make sure that they were all there. The question I had is, I noticed they took down the tarps today, which is great. Get a really good, clear view of how this is all going to look. I wanted to confirm that along the property line, it pitches down a little bit. Obviously, the school is at level, and then our property pitches down a little bit. I want to know if the fence that we're installing, is it going to be a 6-foot fence, an 8-foot fence, so that we can get a good feel of like where our privacy is going to be around this, because we originally had about like 15 or 20 trees that bordered our property line that were cut out completely. And we were ensured that, we would have this similar amount of privacy. And I just noticed that with the amount of, fill that has been added to the project, that the school itself has, or at least the property itself has gone up quite a bit. So I just want to make sure that the privacy is still going to be about the same. And additionally, I had talked to Joe about some damage that had been done to a historical stone wall that is on our property from when the tree removal happened. They had damaged and knocked down probably about 5 or 6 fairly large stones and put a ton of wood chips into the lawn, but also like compacted into the back of the stone wall. And he said towards the end of the project, please bring it up, and they'll be able to come out and have somebody repair it. So I wanted to bring that up, and also where the egress is going to be between my property and the site itself. There has been a phenomenal amount of overgrowth that has happened, and I just want to confirm that that is going to be cleared out prior to wrapping up, as it was created by the project and was on that side of the property. And just wanted to just get a few of those details figured out.
Okay, thank you. So Alyssa, two of those seem to be construction activity related. I don't know if that's something that you would just, John, just want to address, bring that message back to the contractor.
Yes, so I can probably quickly answer the first two and get back to you on the third ask, if you could send the project email, an email. So for the first question, you mentioned the cedar fence. It is a 6-foot fence. So we're actually getting our new schedule update on Wednesday this week, where we can get a better timeline on when exactly they plan to finalize that work, because we have quite a bit of site work left. So that I can get back to you about the timing of it. The second one, I believe that you did speak with the superintendent, because he is aware of the damage in the yard, and they said that Catalano, who's the site contractor, would be back to fix it. So that one again would definitely put it in writing so that we're tracking it. And then the third one, I would have to look at the details a little bit closer to provide an answer. I didn't know if John Bartecki, if you had any answer for the third question off the top of your head.
Which was exactly what?
He had questions about the egress between his site, his abutting property and the site,
In the overgrowth.
and the overgrowth.
Again, we'd have to look at that with Kevin on site. I can't imagine that there's any overgrowth there that wasn't always there every spring, but I gotta look. But we just gotta look. Other than just to actually look and assess it, I don't really know at this point. And I'm not sure where it is, so I would want to look. But not a problem. We can address it tomorrow, Alyssa.
Great.
All right, yeah, that all sounds really good. I appreciate it. Yeah, the question that I had specifically about the fence was not installation, but wanted to ensure that we're going to have an adequate amount of privacy still, because obviously the previous site was much lower and this has been built up quite a bit, and it is the grade of the site is much different than the previous one, which I know is really good for drainage. But I wanted to just make sure that, you know, we may have a 6-foot fence there, but, you know, we're at street level and we have vehicles driving by, and like if a bus drives by, or, you know, people can look straight out the window into our backyard, even if there is a 6-foot fence, because the way it slopes is school's here, property goes down like this, house is here, essentially. So it's overlooking everything. And they said that, you know, we would have an adequate amount of privacy. And I just want to make sure that, you know, we're being held to that. Along the back is perfect, where the modified brick retaining wall is. That's great. I think that that's, you know, awesome. I think everything came out really good there. I was just concerned just because everything was stripped back today, and actually seeing the grade and how it's just pretty much, it's just like a quick steep drop off essentially along the property and the egress. Is it going to be built up at all, or is it going to be, you know, at grade of where it's at now?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why Bacon has removed all this temporary fence and scrim, so that they can get a look and assess what's going in there, so they can actually clean this up and be done with it in the next 5 or 6 weeks. So
Beautiful. I appreciate that. Yeah, I figured it came down today, wanted to flag it sooner than later. You know, it was something I wanted to just check on, and the timings felt correct to ask. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the things that we can chat about if you guys want, from a committee standpoint, is where this 6-foot cedar fence goes and where the 4-foot PVC chain link fence goes. Right now, they're shown on the property line, which is approximately a foot or a foot and a half below the road. So if we wanted to move them closer to the road to increase this privacy, you know, that's something we can look at. But we would need to do it sooner than later as a committee, so. If this
John,
is an issue, so.
John, is this something that you can take a look at out and report back to us?
Well, what we'll do is Alyssa and John Feely and I and Kevin will go out there tomorrow, and we'll walk just this entire area from the end of that retaining wall out to South Street, and we can report to you, you know, if we put the 6-foot fence right where it's shown, it's essentially a 4.5 to 5-foot fence from the road, from our road inside the site. So, but every foot you move it closer to our driveway raises it, you know, 5 or 6 inches. So it may be something that you may want to do as a committee. But we'll look tomorrow, you know, John, Alyssa and I and Bacon, and we'll let you know what we think.
Okay, does that sound okay, Mike? Sylvia?
Yep. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. And I will be home at any point tomorrow. So if there are any questions, feel free to come knock on the door. I can come out and talk at any point. So.
All right.
We've never been able to get a good look at it. So now that that fence is gone, we're going to be able to see it very clearly and figure out what, if anything, we need to do.
Sounds good. Same for me on the other side. Didn't get a good look until just now. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay, that's it for the agenda. So the next item is
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn?
For a second.
Second, Lil.
And I was switching to a cell phone second.
Okay. We'll take
John?
the- Yes. Thank you,
Michael?
everybody.
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.